Hey, it's Dan McDonald. I'm here with Kevin, and I wanted to introduce you to Kevin because I think you're doing some good work, and you asked some really cool questions, and I wanted you to kind of present that to the parents out there. But first, tell us what you're doing right now with your. You could talk about your athletics for a minute, and also your endeavors with helping people to understand health. Hey, Levi.
Well, a quick story, Dan, is I didn't really have much concept of health or the importance of health until I found out I was going to become a father myself. And I realized someone's going to copy my example. And the example I was living at the time was drinking, staying out late, smoking, eating really crap food. And I had really poor health for it. And so I didn't really want that to happen to my son. And so I started asking different questions. Those questions led to me taking control of my own health and changing my diet, and now instead of having a hard time running a mile and suffering with hernias, I now run 50-mile races, and I have a 100-mile race coming up later this year. And I really want to help parents find that energy, because I often run into parents at the park who are too tired to play with their kids, and I think that's a shame. And I think they want to experience more energy, so I'd like to help that.
That's cool, man. So what do you do? What do you suggest for the parents to help them get more healthy?
Right. Some major areas I see parents, myself included, that we struggle with is keeping the dietary fat low. Oftentimes, if we don't eat throughout the day, the longer you go without eating and build up that calorie deficit, we become less discriminate, and we start to reach for the high calorie, high fat foods, which don't serve us well. The foods that serve me best and that serve humans best are fruits and vegetables. And so it's important to eat a lot of fruits during the day, eat your green juices, get that healthy food in, so you're more discriminate in your food choices.
So choose healthy foods,
before
you choose unhealthy foods.
Right.
I always say, don't tell yourself you can't have the cookie. Just tell yourself you're going to eat a couple of bananas first, and then before you have the cookie, and then that way you don't piss off the little child inside of you that loves the cookie, and you eat a couple bananas, and then you realize 50 to 80% of the time, oh, I don't really need a cookie, I just needed to eat something. And a banana is way more digestible and better without a lot of the additives and artificial crap that comes with the cookie, like sugar and wheat and that type of thing. So I always thought that was good advice. In other words, make sure the fruit's around on the table, and grab for that first, and that'll stabilize you for a minute. Then you can, after you've been stressed out or haven't eaten for 3 or 4 hours, you might reach for something crappy.
I like that. Healthy procrastination. Procrastinate, put off the thing that's not going to serve you well, and take a little bit of the good stuff and see how you feel.
Oh, first of all, get stabilized.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's the major areas. The parents just aren't fueling themselves with the correct fuel, and then they want to have the energy levels, but it's just not going to happen if the fuel source is so heavy and not conducive to high energy levels.
Most food is junk.
Most food is junk.
Fruits, and we had a conversation up there, and we all agreed that, let me fix my hair, that fruits and leafy green herbs are the best foods. Mm-hmm. Agree?
They work best for me and most everyone I know, yeah.
Yeah, for a lightness, a clarity, nice clean bowels, nice bowel movements. I mean, when you're on fruit and greens and it's just pure like that, you don't even hardly ever need toilet paper. Just bam, done. And that's how you know you're eating well, you know what I mean? Honestly, I mean, everyone just kind of laughed, but it's truth
for us, yeah. We laugh, that's a little true, yeah.
I mean, when you just eat like oranges all day, and then it's like, boom, it's like, bam. It's so clean, it's amazing. It doesn't smell or anything, so.
Low time, so you reduce your prep time in the kitchen, you reduce your cleaning time in the kitchen, you reduce your time in the bathroom, and you increase your capacity to express energy and love. So you have way more capacity to become a better parent under your own standards, whatever that means to you. You've got the energy to express that.
Well, so what really inspired me to make this video was that question that you asked up there about when you were actually literally talking to people at McDonald's.
So I started a channel called High Energy Parenting, aimed at helping parents, but I found I have a propensity or a skill in dealing with uncomfortable situations well. So I go into fast food, I've gone into fast food places, and I record myself, talking to parents, and I asked them a couple questions, allowing them to have the chance to introspect. And the questions are, so they obviously had a fast food joint to give their kids and themselves some fast food. And I asked them, and every parent unequivocally answers that no, it's not health food. And the next question is, if it's not health food, then why do you want to give it to your kid?
That's a really good question. I mean, that was the question I wanted to present on this video. Is that a good question? I mean, why would we do that? Because it tastes good? Because look at what's happening to our health in this country and around the world.
I can tell you what the answer is. Every parent answered with the same unfortunate response, which is, it's a treat. It's a treat, and so essentially what they're programming and what we're programming ourselves to do and programming our kids to do is, when it's time to treat yourself, hurt yourself. A treat is now equated with harming myself, as opposed to, you know, my son, he eats raw fruits and vegetables. Certain fruits are harder to get, and so he rarely gets durian, but he loves durian, so that's a treat for him. You know, it's a treat to go on a long bike ride with Dad when Dad goes on his long runs. So he's got a different mindset when it comes to treat.
Yeah, that is valuable. It's something I've never even thought about myself. So you're educating me as well here, bro, in the fact that, like the durian story. But wait a minute here. Mangoes are only in season once a year. So isn't that a treat? And then you've got organic grapes, which are only in season for a month or two out of the year when they're ripe and snapping crisp fresh. That's a treat. So I don't know about you, but being a fruitarian, you know, is always
it's like a treat.
Yeah, figs, like ripe figs with sugar slam maple bombs. You know what I mean? That's a treat. So it's really like you could go to your kids, hey honey, we've got these new honey mangoes. All right, that's a treat that also treats you well. And like you said, that's an interesting thing. I mean, in our society, it's like, all right, let's go out and get a drink. Well, I know it's not good for you, but you know, it's a treat.
Let's celebrate.
Yeah, but it's
an odd perspective, yeah.
So the perspective of, you know, changing our concept of, can we create healthy treats? Mm-hmm. Like, hey, let's go out and take a nap at the beach. I mean, that's a healthy treat, right?
Oh yeah.
But yet, so we need to start maybe thinking in that way of, how can we treat our children with healthy treats?
Well, I mean, I'm right on. I mean, you can condone it with yourself. Maybe you can come up with excuses for yourself, but I'd really like to hear how you can come up with excuses as to why you want to give your kid poor food. It's a really difficult answer to come across.
And why you want to get mad at them for getting D's in school or not completing their work because their nervous system is all agitated from the Coca-Cola and the M&Ms, and now you're mad at them. You're the one that gave them the money for the Coke and the M&Ms. So we got to start being more responsible. I mean, this is hardcore, brutal truth here.
It is, and that's what I'm aiming for with my channel and with this message, and thank you for helping with this video. I want parents to start holding other parents accountable. If I saw a 5-year-old at a park being offered a cigarette, I would stop that parent from giving him a cigarette. And if I saw a 5-year-old who was battered and bruised, and it looked clearly that the dad was doing it, I would say something, because I want to at least, at bare minimum, I'm going to express to that child that some people love you, that adults do take care of themselves. But we're dropping the ball, letting fat kids be a joke, or fat kids walk by and not say anything to their parents, because that kid is not harming himself on purpose. He's not buying his groceries. He's going to deal with pre-diabetic symptoms, societal off-putting symptoms, and these are all things that he or she did not choose for themselves. And I really don't see why we're allowing parents to do that, because we wouldn't let the other stuff slide. But we're allowing parents to put a Snicker bar into a kid. I don't think that's cool. And so I personally say something, and I encourage you to say something. So I recorded some footage. I guess the reason I add those questions is because I've asked other questions that didn't work out so peacefully before. Those two questions of, do you consider it health food, and then why do you want to give it to your kid, tosses the ball in the parents' court rather than me coming off
You've
as...
gone through experiences where you've kind of ticked some people off.
And that's not what I want to do. Right. I don't want to, I'm not looking to aggravate a parent. I want them to feel better. I want them to have a better chance.
Or be judgmental, because we do know, yeah, it's hard to get kids. It's like sort of like I work with a lot of autistic kids and their moms. It's like you want to try to deal with who's hard to, like adults in their 30s and 40s and 50s to try to change their eating habits, and autistic kids. But we have to, so we're not trying to judge.
No,
we're just trying to be encouraging. We know how challenging it is when your kids, and you don't want to create eating disorders either, because I knew this one kid, this one mom was like forcing the vegan health food diet, but every time the kid would leave, he'd go straight to the friend's house, let's go to McDonald's. So you got to watch for that too, that you're not, that you're explaining it. Like my daughter, she's 16, she's right here. I never forced it. They want pizza, fine. I'm dad. I love the fruits and vegetables. I love health. One day you got to make your own choices. It's kind of like you treat your kids like an adult. Like you treat them like they're smart to make their own decisions.
Definitely.
And you set a good example.
The example reigns. The example reigns supreme.
Right.
It's hard to not want to do what dad's doing, especially when dad looks so good and dad's right. I mean, so
I think my daughter Natea is impressed with my life and how much I've gone through to get where I'm at, and I'm getting better and better and having more and more success. A lot of people go downhill, other people go uphill. I'm sure your children are observing your success in life, and so we're just here to, ask some tough questions. Really,
they're tough questions, but they're going to they're going to serve you so well if you answer them. If you pursue that. It was a tough question when I was 21, working in a bar, flipping burgers, drinking at night, and I asked myself, what's the optimal diet to feed a kid? And I realized I gotta feed myself that, and that's not a fun. It's challenging perhaps, but the upsides are fantastic. Being able to feel great all year round, stay lean and trim, being able to play and have energy, even at the end of the night when you want to fool around with your partner after a long day of playing with the kids, it's nice to have the energy. So
yeah, well, that just reminds me of how sometimes the parents say one thing and do another. That will never work. The kids are going to mimic what they see. So if they see, hey, if you say don't fight with your sister, and you and your husband are fighting, it's no good. You've just wasted your breath. You have to be what you want your children to be. If you want your children to be healthy and successful, you have to be healthy and successful, and you can't force it on them. You just set an awesome example, and you love them and encourage them, and you say, hey, this is what dad's doing. I've been saying this to my kids since they were 6 months old. I would sit there and say, you're gonna have to make choices in life, and this is a 6-month-old baby, but I know that a lot of people think, oogie googie gaga. Your kids are not stupid. They're smarter than you are when they're that way, because they haven't been dumbed down yet. They're pure vessels. And so when you talk to a 6-month-old child, hey, someday you're gonna make choices, and in this universe, you pay the recompense for your choices. So I want to encourage you at this very young age of 6 months to make good choices. And you start talking to your kids like that, you'll have a relationship with your kids. I didn't mean to steal the spotlight, bro, but I was talking to a young man over here, and Natea and I were sitting over there, and he was like, oh, I didn't think he was your dad, because usually parents have that bad, funky vibe, like this tension. And he didn't sense that between us. Like, Natea and I are more like friends than we are like dad. I just talk to her. So that's what I would encourage. Talk to your kids, set a good example.
I don't think you stole the spotlight at all. I think you put it in a good direction, that kids are exceptionally intelligent, and you show them respect, they'll often make the intelligent decision. They're very intelligent that way.
We will continue to carry the torch for parents and people, because we're here at Woodstock Fruit Festival, and I can tell you, these are the brightest, most beautiful people that you're going to meet. There's nothing but love coming off this hill, and a desire to learn and grow and serve one another and eat good food and run around. This is our paradise. This is our heaven. Once a year we get together for a couple weeks, and we spend a couple weeks in paradise here hanging out together. So welcome everybody, and thank you, Kevin, for your awesome video. Many more to come. And where can we find you?
You can check out highenergyparenting.com, also the YouTube channel High Energy Parenting.
Highenergyparenting.com and High Energy Parenting on YouTube. Thank you everybody for watching this video, giving it a thumbs up and sharing it, and doing the work. Slow and steady and patient and calm and dedicated and persistent. Loving your children, loving yourself, helping others, being gentle, kind of making yourself the butt of the joke. Here I am with my rabbit food, instead of this air of superiority will never work. You're the humble one, making fun of yourself for eating all your rabbit foods and being skinny and all this stuff, and all the things that go along with some of the truths that go along with who and what we really are as Homo sapiens, Homo spiritus on the way. Thanks, bro. Thank you all very much. Peace.
Thank you.
Karen?